All right, thanks, Mark. A new Easter Seals study on autism breaks ground on the critical support needed for families, particularly the need for more services for adults with autism. And here to tell us more about it is Dr. Paula Pompa-Craven, an autism expert who works with the Easter Seals. And thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, this is a study that's released nationally today. We have your experts up talking to national networks in New York. And tell us about what the difference is between this study and some of the other ones.
This study, the one great thing about this study is it provides validation for what we've known all along, that parents and families of people with autism are concerned as their children turn into adults. They're concerned about their futures.
And this kind of has the differences, because we knew that parents were concerned, but this one has the numbers to back it up?
Exactly. It has numbers. It was based on a poll of over 2,500 individuals, both families with autism and families of typically developing children. And it compares different areas in life: independence, finances, education, relationships, employment, housing. It looks at all of these characteristics and how parents with people with disabilities are feeling about their child's future.
And one of the main points that stands out, or it seemed to me, was parents are worried about if their child is going to make it in society.
Right, right. Parents are typically worried about housing, about employment, about independence, whereas parents of children who do not have autism, their fears are lessened as their child grows. They are less fearful about their child's independence. They feel they're going to be more independent, as we all do when we become adults, but people with children with autism actually have more concerns as their children grow into adulthood.
Now, one of your specialties is working with adults with autism, so obviously this is your area of expertise.
Sure.
And you also write grants. Are
Yes.
you encouraged by these findings?
I'm very encouraged because now we actually have facts to validate what we've known. And so when we go to funders, when we go to foundations and grant makers, and even to the state, we can say, listen, we need further resources to provide services, and these are the numbers to back what we've said all along.
Now, one of the things we were talking about in the break, my twin brother, as I told you, has autism.
Right.
He lives alone in Northern California and has a work coach that comes in.
Right.
And so he wasn't even diagnosed till he was 21
Right.
and didn't even have a
Right.
job until he was 30. So
Right.
it's nice now that there is more attention to this.
Right. And I think this is another reason why the study is so useful, because we're seeing more and more children diagnosed with autism, 1 in 150. And so these children are going to grow up and become adults, like your brother, who will need services. And as you see, your brother was diagnosed later in life. These children are fortunately diagnosed earlier, but now we need to have the resources to support them in their teenage and adult years.
Now, this is a national study. In California, they actually have a little step up on other places across the country because they are, what did you say, guaranteed help?
We have what we call the Lanterman Act, which is an entitlement service or program, which says that all people have the right to receive services and education, housing, all of those supports as you're typically developing children.
And one of the things that came out in this study was some of the big concerns, and you've mentioned some of these, children making life decisions, having friends, a spouse or a life partner, if they're valued by the community, and taking part in recreational activities. All of these things you worry about. When they're in school, it's one thing,
Right.
and then when they step out into the real world, who's going to take care of those things?
And one of the biggest challenges for people with autism is usually in the social world. And so these areas fit right into the social world: marriage, fitting into society, making friends. Those are all very social in nature.
Yeah, and talking about how many people actually are diagnosed with autism, isn't it 67 people per day or something?
It's right. 1 in 150, basically, children are born with autism.
Okay.
Are diagnosed.
Well, thank you for coming in and talking about the study and its findings, and hopefully this will bring some help
Yes, definitely.
across the country, and we hope to have you back to talk about it.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Pompa-Craven, thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too.
All right, be careful in the rain out there.
I will.
For more information, go to san diego6.com and click on the link Hot Topics.